All right, we should be blinded by the sun now. Oh yeah. Whoa. It's working. What's going on YouTube? 6'5 Rider coming back to you from the 6'5 garage with another install video today. Today we're going to be installing this baby right here. As you can tell, it's the Rigid Adapt XP Light with the bracket from KleenMoto and the wiring harness. So it's about time to get rid of this ugly little thing. Well, it's not ugly, actually, it's not that bad, and it performs fine, honestly, but I think this looks cool, especially if you're trying to go for that performance bagger type of look. Everyone has the LP6s, so I kind of wanted to do something different, and I saw these Adapt XP lights by Rigid, which is a popular, off-road light company, and KleenMoto makes a really clean bracket for it, and so I really want to get it installed on the Road Glide. At first I was actually gonna have somebody do this for me. I was gonna take it somewhere because when I read the instructions, it seemed a little complicated to me because we're gonna have to remove the front fairing, gonna have to remove the tank, gonna have to remove the seat, probably the side covers to be able to access the battery and whatnot, but I said F it. I'm gonna try and do it myself. And it's Sunday morning, I got nothing going on, and my plan is just to spend the day on it and see what we can do. All right, let's go ahead and unpack these right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do one of these, maybe we'll do a little finger clap, or we'll do one of these like boom, boom, where it's open. I don't know, let's see. Let's do this. All right, see ya. And here we go. All right, so that was pretty smooth, I think. But as you can see, we get two headlights. You get the wiring harness from KleenMoto, which makes this pretty much plug and play. You don't have to do any soldering of whatever. Here's your positive terminal. You just have to use this little fuse thingamajig to plug it in. We'll go over it in the instructions later. Here's the KleenMoto bracket that you're gonna use to mount your lights into the fairing. So in the KleenMoto setup, you're gonna get the bracket, the wiring harness, and the lights themselves will actually have the plug and play, as you can see, wires attached already to the light. So that's the advantage of buying your lights from KleenMoto rather than buying them separately, because otherwise you'd have to actually solder the wires into the lights so that you can get power to them. Here's the KleenMoto instructions. They have good good quality, good pictures. Yeah, we're gonna try to follow them to the best of our ability and see what we need to do here. So the first step that we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the fairing, and in order to do that, you gotta remove these 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, to remove your windshield, and then there's a couple of other bolts. Once you remove those, remove these from each side, and then we're gonna remove this thing, stick our hand in there, and pop off the speaker lids, and then there's a bolt in each of them. So let's go ahead and get started in doing that. And then we're gonna watch a video on how to remove the tank, and I'm gonna link it in the description, but I'm also gonna attempt to remove the tank myself. Looks like I don't have to empty it from any fuel or anything, so by just disconnecting the fuel line, it should be fine. So I'm gonna do that first before doing anything with the instructions here, and then we'll come right back to it. All right, so we're gonna start off, like I said, by removing the front fairing first, and then we'll go to the gas tank. For the front fairing, you're gonna use this little guy, so 1/8, and we're gonna take these 4 bolts off. So once we take our windshield off, you see all these 4 are off. We're gonna take off this little guy, and this just pops off. Yep, you just pull it out and it pops off. So see, now you actually have access to your console. So one thing that I like to do is once I take the little lid off, I like to come back here and keep one screw in. Doesn't matter which one. I just like to keep one in. That way when I take off the rest of the bolts for the fairing, it doesn't just fall off. And especially with just being by myself doing this, I don't have a second pair of hands for somebody to kind of hold the fairing as I'm taking it off. So yeah, just a little trick. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect the turn signals. All right, so we'll disconnect this guy. All you have to do, hit this little clip. You can see it right here, and pull. Those are the turn signals. Same thing over here, and pull. That's it. All right. Next, we're gonna pull off the speaker lids. You'll see this little white tab that I'm pointing to. What you're gonna do is gently push it out. Once you push the top one, there's another one at the bottom. All you gotta do is like carefully try to pry it out, or you can use like a little screwdriver to do that. All right, I'm gonna do that. Hold on. Yep. So you'll see here, it's 2 holes. See this one and this one. And this is what it looks like, so you just have to pry it out. All right, we'll do the other side real quick. Same thing. See the white, that white thing right there? It's gonna go, boom, push it out. And then, yep, just like that. Take it out. Careful with these things, you guys. They're very delicate. You don't want them to break. All right, almost there. So once we're in here, you actually have 1 bolt, which is this guy right here. We'll take that off, and then you'll have this bolt over here, and you're pretty much done, honestly. So for this one, you're gonna use a 3/16 socket and pull it out. You guys, if you don't have one of these and you work on your bike, get you one of these. I got it for like $3 from Harbor Freight. I just use it to put all my bolts in it, because like by the end of this, we're gonna be taking out so many bolts, so it's a good idea to keep track of them, basically. All right, so once you're done with that, you do both sides, then you do both sides in the speakers right here, and then you have these 2 little wind deflectors. Those also hold the fairing in place. These ones right here. Take off the fairing now. All right, so this is the final one. Taking the bottom one, then I'm gonna take the top one. And these are T25s, I believe. So yeah, once we get that one off, then the fairing comes right off. And that's why I left that bolt up there, because once I take this off, I don't want my nice black fairing to just tumble onto the ground, you know? I'm not super excited about doing this. I love messing around with my bike, but whenever it comes to anything electrical, I'm always hesitant. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll be a good learning experience. I've always wanted to know how to remove my tank, and this will force me to do it. So yeah, you saw I took it off, and fairing's still on. Once I take this bolt off, whole fairing comes crashing down. So as you can see, I'm holding it with one hand, taking it off with the other, or taking off the screw with the other. Alright, as soon as I take off this screw, I'm gonna pull it right out, and it comes right off. Simple as that. Next is the big scary thing, the gas tank. So in order to take the gas tank off, I'm gonna link a video in the description below. I've never done this before, but the main idea behind it is take off your seat. I got my bad boy cycles. I have to actually unscrew it from here, and then you got 2 points, one right here. Oh, interesting. My Suicide Chopper's fairing bracket hooks to the, oh, that's gonna be fun. Okay, it hooks to the gas tank. Lovely. All right, guess we'll figure this out. All right, scrap that. So it might be actually easier than I expected, but anyway, the way to remove your gas tank, in case you don't feel like navigating from my video, I'm still gonna link the other videos below, but basically you have a bolt on each side here. Mine doesn't look normal because I have the fairing bracket from Suicide Chopper, so that replaced that little plastic piece that was here, but it should look the same way. So you remove this one, you remove the other side, come over here, you remove the bolt that was in here, you remove the bolt that was in there, you remove this bolt. For the console, you disconnect the fuel pump, which is this guy right here, the white one, and then you take this guy off, which is the pressure line. This guy right here, you take them off. And we're gonna plug all these things back on later, but yeah, and then all you do is finally you disconnect the fuel line, supposedly. All you gotta do is lift it up and down, and then only a little bit of fuel should drip, otherwise it should close out. So this is gonna be interesting to see over here. Oh, it did it. I got a bunch of gas filled on my hand that I probably should go wash. Probably not a good idea to light up a cigarette anywhere near this garage anytime soon, huh? And there we go. Just make sure the next, when you do this, you don't have a full tank because this shit is heavy. Alrighty, here we are. Wow, I didn't think I could do this, but I did. Cool. Alright, we'll move on to actually installing the light on the bracket now that we're done here, I think. Alright, so now this is the hard part. Now we're gonna try to follow some instructions. I'm more usually of a visual person, so this is gonna be a little tough for me. Anyway, one thing to note is that we're gonna use some hardware that's supplied from the KleenMoto setup, and then other hardware that's actually supplied by Rigid themselves. So they get you these two. It's like this one and this one, and each one has like the bolts and screws that are needed. The bracket that KleenMoto provides comes like this. So you're gonna take off these two mounting. You're gonna take this off, right? And we're gonna place this on the back of the light. So start off like this. I'm gonna bring the wire through it. We're gonna take the wire and tuck it in just so we have enough space. We're gonna take each bolt and put it through here, then bring its lock nut and close it for now. Because eventually what we're gonna do is mount it on this thing right here. So for now we're just preparing the light. So we got one, where's the other? Right here. I hate losing bolts. Alright, here we go. And throw it on. Cool. Alright, and then the next part is gonna be the Rigid setup hardware. Just keep it separate from your other light hardware just so you don't get confused. And the Rigid kit comes with this thing. This little plastic piece where you can throw your little fasteners in there, so, or your lock nuts. You can throw them in there, so like you'll see the small one actually fits in this hole, and then the bigger one you'll actually want to take the light and point it towards where the bolt is going to go, so right here, and just drop it in between. I don't know if you can see it, but see it right over there, those two little slots. That's where we're going to drop it. Okay, and that's gonna hold it in place. So you'll see where it is right there. So now it makes it easier to bring the little plastic piece and actually set it in place. So you see how it is now. When you look at it from here, you'll see that you see these two holes, and you'll just put the bolts through them basically with the fasteners in there. Alright, so yeah, you're gonna have the two M6 bolts and two M4 bolts, and then each of them is gonna have a washer that you're gonna use as well. So we're gonna put the washer right here and put the small washer on the M6 bolt. Boom. So each one goes in each side. Oh yeah, see, this one is like seated perfectly. Beautiful. Alright, and then you finish this off and you do the other side, then we'll move on to the next step. Later. Alright, after a struggle with some alignment issues between the nut and the bracket, I was finally able to get it. It only took like an hour of me trying. Anyway, the next step is to connect the light to the bracket. Alright, so this is basically what it's gonna look like. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten these 4 bolts, and then tighten this guy to this guy. So once everything is tightened down on the bracket, this is what it'll look like, and this is when we'll pretty much try and adjust our lights a little bit here. Yeah, man, I brought it as low as possible so it looks kind of flush-ish. I don't know. There's gotta be maybe we can put some tape or something to close it up, because, you know, during South Florida downpours, you know, water is gonna get in. So I need to figure out a way to seal this. Might need to get, you know, those little fillers. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll hit them up and ask them what I should do. All right, now we're gonna have to move to the wiring harness. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and remove the stock headlight from the Road Glide, from the bike. This install is definitely longer than I expected. On my scales, I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5 in terms of difficulty. All right, so what we're gonna do is, once we take it off, there's gonna be the little plug for it, which we're gonna take off. So it's only 4 bolts. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. We might have to use these later if we want to use the filler, the bezels, basically. Ew, this dead ass bug. Nasty. Alright, I'm gonna take this off. One thing as well, we gotta unplug this guy. I don't really unplug him, you just take him off the little mount here. This thing. This guy, so you can get it out of the way. All right, just remember that. Cool, now we remove the headlight. All we gotta do, lift this tab up right here, flatten the wire. And there we go, headlight is off. So here's the wire. So I put it through the front of the fairing, and as you can see, it's coming out of this way, right here. So I'm gonna pull it all the way back to the battery. And what we're probably gonna do is just like let it rest underneath the tank. We're gonna zip tie it and clean it up. So this guy is gonna sit somewhere in here in the fairing. So yeah. So let me figure out what I'm gonna do here and then get back to you guys. All right, so we're able to get to the battery, finally. Disconnected a bunch of stuff, removed this little cover, move the ECM over here carefully. And now what we're gonna do is, here's the cable. We're gonna bring it, connect it to the negative, and then the red one to the positive. As you may have noticed, their positive cable is separate, and it uses this type of fuse thingy where you have to go gently in and then press it until it clicks. So we'll be doing that in a bit here, but first we're going to connect the negative and then go from there. Here it is in the instructions. It's called a push button splice connector. Yeah, it's got a little piece of fuse here. Yeah, like I said, I hate working on electrical components because a lot of things can go wrong, and I ain't no electrician, man. Alright, so it says to go all the way in. Looks like that's as far in as I can go, right? Yeah. Go all the way in. And click it until it clicks, I guess. Let's see, hold on. Use a pair of pliers. I'm not strong enough to do it, I guess. There we go. I heard it click, so hopefully that was it. All right, so we're gonna remove the negative battery terminal first, then remove the positive, and then we'll install the positive first and then install the negative. put him up. I'll put it right up here so I don't lose it. All right, there's the negative completely removed. Don't come back. All right, and here's the positive. Honestly, this might be a really good time for me to swap out the battery because I think I need a new battery anyway. Now what we're gonna do is bring this homie right here. Alrighty, now we'll bring the negative. Install that one. And then I'll have to figure out how to clean this shit up. There we go. Alright. I gotta test it to make sure it actually works. I just don't know if it works or not. Because if it doesn't, then that'll mean I did something wrong. Alright, we should be blinded by the sun now. Oh yeah. Whoa. It's working. I need to see which sides are illuminated and which aren't. And since I really can't look at this right now, oh my god, it's blinding. It really is blinding. I need to take a picture of it because I might have to flip the two. Whoa, I can't see. I need to take a second. So it looks like I have to flip it because I was looking at the picture that I just took. And it says over here, make sure to determine which LEDs are not illuminated. Orient your lights so the non-illuminated LEDs align to the inside as shown. So you'll see here in the picture, the insides are not illuminated. In my picture, the insides are illuminated. So I gotta flip it. That sucks. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna start working on routing the cables, fit it back on, and then close up. See ya. Alrighty, so I went ahead and, as you guys saw, I routed the cable to the battery and, you know, plugged in this little thing, the whatever splicer, I don't know what it's called. But anyway, let me put this light here so you guys can see. So yeah, I hooked up the negative to the negative terminal, the positive to the positive, put the ECM back on, the battery cover back on. I made sure to put this on the side here because I don't know, I don't feel safe of it being close to the terminals. I think I tucked it in pretty nicely. As you can see, here's the little wiring harness for the KleenMoto or the Rigid lights. Let me see, I zip tied it here, here, here. You know, just to give it a little bit more room and to make it a little bit more clean, you know. It went down here. Yup, all good. So now I think I'm ready to put the tank back on. Don't worry, I'm gonna cut these. Don't worry about that. So I think I'm ready to put the tank back on. Not ready to close the fairing yet. So here's what it looks like. It looks really good, you guys. And I turned it on a couple of times. It's bright AF, and it actually hurt my eye for a little bit. So in my setup, they gave me, they're both white lights, but they gave me the amber covers. So I can take these off and put them back on, which is really cool. One thing to be aware of is when you are installing the bottom bracket, make sure to loosen up the top filler from this thing, and then with this, when you first put it on, just make it finger tight to basically hold the weight of the lights. And then we're gonna go down here. We're gonna go down here and we're gonna install that bolt, you know, because like if you do the top first, then the bottom doesn't line up. So you gotta do the bottom first. Make sure to put blue Loctite on there, and make sure to use the washer that they provided in the KleenMoto kit. And then once you put it in there, you can go through here and kind of close it out. Same with the other side. Once the bottoms are done, then you can go and install this again, make it tight, and then do the top. Again, also blue Loctite. Don't forget that part. You don't want to be driving and have these come loose. The only issue is I noticed in the KleenMoto setup, I was supposed to get a adhesive kind of thing up here, and I guess that helps with the waterproofing a little bit. But for the life of me, I could not find it in the box. And so I just hit up KleenMoto to see if they can send me another one. In addition to that, some people use the stock bezel and they put it in here, you know, to kind of help waterproof this area. I threw a question out there on the Facebook Road Glide forums to see if anybody has a better solution, because I really don't like the way that looks, to be honest, with the stock bezel. So I'm wondering if there's any way I can waterproof this or water seal it, like, yeah, the top here and there and the side there. So I'm gonna leave it like this for the time being until I figure this out, and then we can go from here. That's bright AF, yo. Look at this. Oi, oi, oi. Look at that. Holy crap. And this is not even that's the high beam. And here's the low beam, and then you can yeah, sick. But anyway, I don't want to turn it on. It'll take up, I feel like it's going to take up so much of the battery. The way you put everything back together is exactly the way we took it off. And we put the tank on first, throw the seat back on, then go back to the fairing and get that done. So yeah, that was it.